And it's my honor to have nominated Cal Cederquist to the Chautauqua County Sports Hall of Fame. And one of the reasons I nominated Cal is because we were at a Buffalo Bills football game, and we were sitting there, and this gentleman to my left looked over my shoulders and saw Cal sitting there and asked if he was the coach of Chautauqua High School. And Cal said, yes, he is. In the process, they were going back and forth, talking about how could you have such an outstanding record when you don't even have a track, and do you have a lot of kids to nominate to take part with the track? And Cal says, sometimes I have 13 kids, and the gentleman says, out of your senior class? And Cal said, no, the whole school from 8th grade to 12th. And it just carried on in the conversation, and it just showed that he knows so much more about Cal than I do, that he even knew about Cal's last year of coaching, where he had a relay team from Chautauqua won the state championship. And other than that, Cal has taken part in other sports, which people really don't know about, is his horseshoes on Thursday night, and also his once-a-month bowling league, which he excelled in. And that's one of the main reasons I nominated Cal, for his coaching ability and also his way he gets along with a lot of people in the community. It's just one outstanding individual.
Cal, it's my honor to officially induct you in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame. Here is your induction plaque, your induction ring, and a certificate from Assemblyman Andy Goodell. Congratulations, Cal.
Thank you very much. You'll have to excuse me a little bit. I hope my voice hangs in there tonight. I've been struggling with it pretty much during the day here, but I'm truly honored and shocked to be standing here this evening. When I first started coaching, all I wanted to do was win a track meet, or two, you know, if could possibly be, if it wasn't asking too much. I grew up on a farm that just back up over the hill here. And in doing so, when it was summer break, most kids that were pitching baseballs, I was pitching bales of hay, day after day, week after week. Growing up on that farm taught me a lot about responsibility and hard work, big reasons why I'm standing here tonight. And besides my parents, I had teachers and coaches at Southwestern that influenced me. There was Joe Russian, Mike Butler, Flash Olson, and I recall a couple of young rookie teachers that were just starting their careers at that time, and I knew that they were going to have great careers. One of them happened to be Walt Thurneau, no surprise there tonight. Another one was Tom Priester. Tom took over our team when I was a senior under some very tragic circumstances. It was either sink or swim. And that individual went on to an outstanding coaching and officiating career. I knew I wanted to teach and coach following graduation from college, and I was offered a job at Little Chautauqua Central. The superintendent told me, you have a job if I was willing to coach the track team, which was fine with me because it's what I wanted to do anyways. I knew there hadn't been much success there at the school, and I soon learned why, and it was a good thing I was young and energetic, because there was no track, very little equipment, and only a small group of about 10 to 15 boys out for the team. All there was a baseball field out behind the school with a tennis court at one end. And we used to set up our pole vaulting and our high jumping on that tennis court and gather, you know, foam rubber out of car seats and everything else to stick in nets to landing pits. And then we'd put our shot putters and our discus throwers out at the end of one end of the tennis court, which they threw out into left field, until the umpire came out and kicked us out of there because the discus was landing too close to the left fielder. And I tried to explain to him that we were only going to do that when the opposing team was in the outfield. Anyways, our track our track was wherever we could find it. Parking lots, and if you're familiar with Chautauqua Institution, Bester Plaza, complete with 90-degree turns. I ordered 24 uniforms for the team because ours were so bad. Well, I got called into the superintendent's office, and he says to me, Cederquist, I admire your enthusiasm and your energy, but you're only going to have 10 to 15 boys out for this team. You might win a meet or two. You're never going to see a championship at this school. We're just too small. And all I'm going to allow you is 18 uniforms, and that's it. Well, I coached for nearly 4 years and never won a meet. The facilities were poor. We had 12 to 15 boys out there for the team, and when you needed 20 to 25 to fill all the events. I used to study the other teams to see how many points we could score against them, not to beat them, so it was so we wouldn't lose so badly. Little did I know that technique that I developed over the years would come back to pay big dividends for me later on. People ask me how I could keep doing this, losing all the time. Why don't you just give up? My wife, she calls me a stubborn Swede. And she's right. Finally, in my 4th year, don't ask me how, I had 11 kids on the team, and we beat a full 20-man track team. And after 4 years of continual losing, there's one thing I learned from winning. I liked it. The next year, we had 27 boys out for that team, and the pendulum began to swing. Problem was, I didn't have enough uniforms now for the team. Now, you might think I'm making this up, but I'm not. I assigned 1 jersey to 2 boys. One boy would finish the race and quickly pull off the jersey, hand it to the next guy so he could run a race, just like handing a baton off in the relay. How did we do it? I'll tell you how. Kids were great. We didn't have much to work with, and all our meets were away. But what we did have was this: a great attitude. We were the smallest school, but the kids worked hard to overcome all those obstacles. We improved to the point of not only winning, but continually winning decisively. We had to enter big invitationals just to find equal competition. The championships came, and in the early 90s, we combined a boys and girls program together with Eileen Laporte, our girls coach, and our little school won championships with both teams. However, our size caught up with us, as we were only graduating, believe it or not, about 20-some kids a year. The decision to merge with Mayville was made. 1996 was our last year, and the kids made up their minds that they were going to go out the best they could possibly be. Both the boys and the girls teams went undefeated, dominated the league. Our boys' 1,600-meter relay team went undefeated against all competition, qualified for the state finals. In the final athletic event in the history of the school, 2 weeks before the final graduation in the history of that school, they won the state championship. And I want you to understand something. We were the smallest of the D schools. They won it in the class above them, Class C, because there was no Class D. In all of my coaching career, both at Chautauqua and Chautauqua Lake, there is one thing that it has taught me, and that is this: do not measure the strength of a team by the size of the school, but by the size of its heart. So many people have been a large part of my success, It's like walking down the pathway, and you're walking along a fence line, and all of a sudden you see a turtle sitting on top of that fence post, and you wonder how in the world it got there. This I can tell you, it didn't get there by itself. So many people have been a large part of my success. Eileen Laporte, our girls coach, assistant coaches that were so dedicated to me. Cheryl Burns and Mike Whitney, Mike Bolender, and our good friend Bob Hall, my ADs, all of my ADs, Rick Anderson and Bill Piper, and my longtime friend Dave Edwards. To all of my dedicated athletes and your parents, for your support, I would not be here tonight. From the beginning, when I first started, to the very last meet, it has been an outstanding ride. To Jim Riggs and Scott Kinberg and the late Den Thorpe at the Post-Journal, they took a special interest in our kids and what we had to overcome, and wrote a lot of special reports about them. You have no idea what you did for writing for those kids. They used to run out and grab the newspaper and bring it to practice to see what was written about them because of what they had to overcome. To the Hall of Fame directors who felt I was worthy of this honor, if you have not been to the Hall of Fame, you owe it to yourself to do so. What they've accomplished down there, what they have accumulated, the information that they have is really astounding. To my loyal friend Tom O'Brien, you had more faith and belief in me than I had in myself. To my kids, Barry and Kevin and Carrie, they were all on championship teams. How many dads can stand up here and say that? You kids played a great game and you ran a great meet. Thanks for the memories, and I hope you are as proud of me as I am of you. I always had some inspirational posters and sayings in my classroom when I was teaching and coaching, and one in particular has always stuck with me, and it goes something like this. It's not so much in the winning, but having the courage to try, especially when the odds are against you. Two people have taught me a great deal about courage, one being my dad, the way he raised his family, worked that farm, and his year-long battle with cancer. The other is my wife, Sharon. The diagnosis was not good. The prognosis was not much better. No one likes to hear the word cancer. She fought a great fight with a great team. We had a great coach, and I'd like to say thanks to Dr. John for being our coach, and today she's 15 years cancer-free. Winston Churchill is one of my favorite people in history. Following World War II, he was asked to speak to some of his constituents, and he simply said this: never give up. And with a slight pause in his voice, he finished his speech by simply saying, never, never give up. I used to tell my kids that sports and life is a lot like the fighter in the ring. There's going to be times when you're going to get knocked down, and you've got a choice to make. Either get back up into the fight or stay down for the count. Now, if you get back up into that fight, there is going to be no guarantee you're going to win. But if you don't, I can guarantee you're going to lose. Whatever we do in sports and in life, we can heed the words of that popular band, Journey. Some will win, and some will lose, but don't stop believing. I want to thank all of you, all of those people who have shown up here this evening for me, people out there I have not seen in 30 years, people from several states. I can't believe it, on my behalf, and especially to my family. I love you all. Thank you all, and may God bless. I appreciate it.